Am I a real classics fan or a fake classics fan? Watch this video to find out. So, I'm going to take a BuzzFeed quiz of 50 works of classic literature to see how many I've read or listened to. By the way, when it comes to longer fiction books, I mostly listen to those in audiobook format. 1. Pride and Prejudice. Yes, I've listened to Pride and Prejudice many, many times. The first time I listened to Pride and Prejudice, I was 8 years old. But I'd already seen the 1995 miniseries many times and the 1979 miniseries many times, so I knew what to expect. 2. The Great Gatsby. No, I haven't read The Great Gatsby. But no, surprisingly, I haven't even seen any movie adaptation. I love stories from the 1920s and 1930s, so maybe I'd like it. 3. 1984. I've listened to a little bit of 1984. When I was 18 or 19, I had this thought of, yes, I am going to listen to 1984. But I didn't get that far. I don't know. It's definitely a book I want to listen to, and I'm not sure why I didn't get farther, but yeah. 4. Little Women. Yes, I've listened to Little Women multiple times. I went through like a big phase of being into Little Women when I was like 7 or 8 or 9 years old. When I was young, I really also liked the movies too. I started re-listening to Little Women not that long ago, so when I was a teenager, it almost seemed a little bit young for me, but re-listening to it, I'm enjoying it. I feel like sometimes you go through that with books, where sometimes you like a book, then it seems a little young, but then when you get a bit older, you're like, oh, I kind of get it again. I wrote a 15-page paper about Louisa's life for a class I was in. We had to write about a famous author, just basically their life story. That was the main thing we were graded on for the class. It was an English class, so I chose to write about her because she had such a fascinating life. And my professor said that my paper was one of the best, if not the best papers in the entire class, so I put a lot of work into it, but I really enjoyed it, so it maybe didn't feel as difficult, even compared to all the work I put into it. 5. The Catcher in the Rye. No, I haven't read it. I don't really know that much about it. Isn't it kind of like an angsty, edgy teen book from the 1950s? When I was younger, someone at a rehearsal for a musical I was in was reading it, but I don't really know that much about it. I might be interested, but no, I haven't read it. 6. To Kill a Mockingbird. No, I haven't read it. I'd like to read it or listen to it. I really like the movie from the 1960s. It's really good. I love the music. It's really just exactly like suits the movie. And yeah, I've seen the movie a couple of times and I really like it, so I think I'd probably like the book, but no, I haven't read it. 7. Catch-22. No, I haven't read it. I very vaguely maybe know the premise, but I don't know that much about it. Of course, I know the phrase catch-22 and how it's kind of entered the popular lexicon, or vocabulary, but beyond that, no, I think I might be interested, but no, I haven't read it. 8. Peter Pan. No, I haven't read it. Of course I know the story from the Disney movie musicals, that sort of thing, but I haven't read it. Isn't it kind of like dark? I mean, like darker than other versions, so I don't know if I'd be interested in it, but I know the story. 9. The Little Prince. No, I haven't read it. I'd never even heard of it. I had to look up what it was even about. I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it, but maybe, maybe not. But no, I haven't read it. 10. Fahrenheit 451. No, I hadn't read it. I don't think I'd ever even heard of it. So I looked it up. It's a dystopian novel from the 1950s. I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it, but no, I haven't read it. 11. Wuthering Heights. No, I haven't read it. I'm not really familiar with the story. I'm not really familiar with the Bronte sisters' works, so I haven't seen any movie or miniseries adaptation either, so I don't know what it's about. I'm not really sure if I'd be interested in it. 12. Moby Dick. No, I haven't read it. Isn't it like just about hunting a big whale? But aside from that, I don't really know. I don't know if I'd be interested in it. Aside from that, I don't know tons about the story, so. 13. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Yes, I've listened to that multiple times. I've listened to Through the Looking Glass multiple times. I really like them. It's been a long time since the last time I've listened to them, but they're very fun and cozy books. Like the Disney movie too, but the book's good in a different kind of a way. 14. Lord of the Flies. No, I haven't read it. Isn't it like kids who are kind of like on their own, stranded, and they kind of need leadership and they're not very nice to each other or something like that? No, but no, I haven't read it. I might be interested in it, but I haven't read it. 15. The Odyssey. No, I haven't read it. I've heard bits of it read a lot, but that was a long, long time ago when I was like very young, like 10 or something. So, yeah, no, I haven't read it. I might be interested in it. The kind of ancient Greek, the whole like ocean theme seems kind of cool and whatnot. So, I think I might be interested in it, but no, I haven't read it. 16. Oliver Twist. No, I haven't read it. Surprisingly, I haven't seen the movie adaptation of the musical or listened to a cast recording or soundtrack of the musical. It's one of those musicals I've been meaning to see or listen to one way or another, but I haven't gotten to it. So, but as far as the book's concerned, no, I haven't seen a non-music. I haven't seen like a adaptation of the book either in a movie or miniseries. So the basic plot I feel like I kind of know, but I'm not that familiar with it. But I might be interested in it. 17. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. I'm actually a little bit of the way in reading it, actually like reading the book, not listening to an audiobook. Someone recommended it and said they really liked it when they were young, so I thought I'd try reading it. But there's a lot of like southern slang from like, I guess, the 1830s or 1840s or whenever it takes place, so it's like a lot to try to figure out what they're saying sometimes. So maybe that's the kind of book that'd be better to actually listen to the audiobook, since I'm only part of the way through. 18. Jane Eyre. No, and surprisingly I haven't seen any movie or miniseries adaptations of it. I don't know, I know what the story is, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that interesting to me or really my kind of thing. I actually have heard bits of it because we put books on for our rabbits at night, and Jane Eyre on audiobook is one of the books that is sometimes on. But aside from that, no. 19. The Grapes of Wrath. No, I haven't read the book. I've seen the movie once. Like the old black and white movie from 1940 or whatever year it's from. It's really good. I liked it. It's a good story, though it's kind of a little bit heavy in parts. But yeah, I haven't read the book, but I like the movie. 20. Anne of Green Gables. Yes, I've listened to Anne of Green Gables many times. I love the Anne books by L.M. Montgomery or Lucy Maud Montgomery. So yes, it's a book in one of my favorite book series. 21. Things Fall Apart. No, I've never even heard of it. Apparently it's a book by a Nigerian author from the 1950s. Sounds like something I might be interested in, but no, I haven't read it and I had never heard of it before. 22. Brave New World. No, I haven't read it. Of course I'm familiar with it. I kind of know the general I know the general premise of it, I think. It's a little bit of a heavier book, so I might be interested in it. And I'm sure it's an important book, and I think it's less of a feel-good book, so it's not like, oh, I just have to read it right now. But yeah, no, I haven't read it, but yes, I might be interested in reading it. 23. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Yes, I've listened to it a couple of times, and if you count a dramatized audiobook set of the Chronicles of Narnia that I have, I've listened to it many, many times. Though not in a while, so maybe I'll have to re-listen to it, but yeah. I like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, though it's actually probably my least favorite of the Narnia books. I actually prefer the 2005 Walden Media movie to the book. I don't know, I just feel like it's a little more exciting. I feel like the first half of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe moves too slowly. The second half of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe moves too fast, so The Horse and His Boy is my favorite of the Narnia books. I definitely prefer the Narnia books in published order as opposed to chronological order. Until recently, The Chronicles of Narnia was the only book by C.S. Lewis I had read. Over the last few years, I've been reading Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, so I'm most of the way through with it. I still have a little bit left to go. Yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10. I don't know, save it for another video, my Mere Christianity hot takes or whatever. It's definitely one of those books that's worth reading, even if you don't necessarily always agree. It's at least interesting to hear someone's thoughts, and someone who's just a very good writer, where you can kind of clarify your own thoughts on things. I do feel like it's maybe a little bit overrated compared with, I guess some of the stuff seemed kind of basic. He's not trying to set himself up as an expert. Other people maybe have made him like that, but that's not at all the vibe you get from the book. He's just like, if you don't find this helpful, then forget about it or move on. 24. Dracula. No, I haven't read it, and I didn't know there was even like just a book, Dracula. I thought it was more kind of like I thought Dracula was more of like a legend, but I guess maybe it was and someone wrote a book about it. In any case, no, I haven't. I'm not sure if I'd be interested. I'm not necessarily a big like horror sort of person, but I don't know if it's a horror book, so yeah. 25, Frankenstein. No, I haven't read it. Wasn't it like the first sci-fi book or something? I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it, but I might read it or listen to it because it's an important historical work. 26, The Lord of the Rings. No, I haven't read any of the books, but isn't like a trilogy, not just one book? I've watched the movies twice, once when I was 14 and once when I was 21. I kind of found them a little bit boring. I mean, it was a good story, and cinematically they were very well done. I just didn't find the story that interesting, and I feel like the books are even deeper on the lore. I don't know, I guess I'm maybe not like a high fantasy person, or at least not when there's tons of lore, so I don't know. Maybe one day I will listen to or read the books, but no, I haven't. 27, Animal Farm. No, I haven't read it. Of course I'm familiar with that famous quote, the "some animals are more equal than others" quote. I would like to read or listen to it. It's a very, I think, important book and has an important message, but no, I haven't listened to it or read it, and it's a heavier book. 28, Great Expectations. No, I haven't read it. I've watched some adaptations of it. My favorite is definitely the 1981 BBC miniseries. It's very long, but I like it because it's kind of funny. Even though Great Expectations is in many ways a very like heavy and serious book, that version brings out the humor in it in parts, so there's sort of funny side characters. But no, I haven't read the book or listened to it. Maybe one day I will. It's an interesting story, but it's not necessarily like a feel-good book, so yeah. 29, Les Miserables. No, I haven't read the book. Of course I'm familiar with the musical. I love musicals, so this might be a really controversial opinion, but I actually like the 2012 movie adaptation. Well, it was the first thing that got me into the musical of Les Miserables. It's a really good story, the music's great, but no, I haven't read the book. I feel like the book's pretty long compared with the musical. I mean, different mediums, but so I don't know how much liking the musical would translate to liking the book, so. But maybe one day I'll read it. 30, The Count of Monte Cristo. I've gotten a little bit of the way into reading the book, but I haven't gotten very far, and that was many years ago, and I don't know, I didn't find it that interesting. It was actually an abridged version of the book, though the book still seemed really long. It just wasn't really gripping me, so maybe I will one day get back into it, but no, I haven't read it. 31, Emma. Yes, I've listened to it a few times. I've seen all of the movie miniseries adaptations of Emma. I like it. It's a fun story. I feel like maybe Emma's a little bit long I feel like the book Emma's maybe a little bit long. There's just some, I feel like, very long scenes of dialogue. Compared with some other Jane Austen books, I feel like it's pretty long. But overall, I really like the story. And I mean, Jane Austen is pretty hilarious. It's like, people maybe don't stereotypically think of that, but yeah, Emma's a great book. 32, War and Peace. No, I haven't read it. I mean, I've listened to Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, which is like a musical based on 70 pages of War and Peace, but I'm not super familiar with it otherwise. I know there's a mini-series I've seen at the library, so maybe I'll watch it, but yeah, no, I haven't read or listened to it. 33, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. No, I haven't read it, though I have it on CD, so I could listen to it. I should listen to it. It actually, doesn't it take place before The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which I've already started reading, so yeah. No, I haven't read it or listened to it, but I should and could easily do it that. 34, Anna Karenina. No, I haven't read it. I might be interested in it, though I don't know. I kind of know what it's about. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know how it ends, so I'm not sure, but yeah, no, I haven't read it, but maybe. 35, The Secret Garden. No, I haven't read it. I've seen a movie adaptation, but that's about it. I might be interested in reading the book, but I haven't read it. 36, The Picture of Dorian Gray. No, I haven't read it. Isn't it kind of like a dark, edgy, psychological thriller? I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it. Maybe, maybe not, but no, I haven't read it. 37, Of Mice and Men. No, I've never read it. I'd never even heard of it. I'd heard of the author, but I don't think I'd heard of the book. It looked like something I might be interested in. It's by John Steinbeck, so it sounds a little bit similar to The Grapes of Wrath. 38, A Separate Peace. No, I've never read it, and I'd never heard of it before. It's a coming-of-age book from the 1950s, so I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it. I might, but no, never read it, never heard of it before. 39. Treasure Island. No, I've never read it. I don't know that much about the plot other than it's like pirates and buried treasure. Well, actually, I just was listening to a book that referenced Treasure Island, so that's how I knew a little bit about it. But yeah, no, never read it, don't know that much about it. I might be interested. 40. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Yes, this is a book I've actually read, and I actually read the physical book, not just listened to the audiobook, which is somewhat unusual for me. It took me like 6 months or close to a year to read it. I read it when I was like 18 years old. It was a little bit boring in parts, but it was the sort of book I'm glad I read. The ending was kind of ambiguous. It was also kind of racist in parts too. So yeah, I don't know if it's a book I have a huge need to read again, but I'm glad I read it one time. I really enjoyed the first 30 pages, where it was like kind of leading up or building up to the submarine and the sightings of it, and those first 30 pages really drew you into the book, or they really drew me into the book at least. So yeah. 41. A Christmas Carol. No, I haven't read it, it's a pretty short book, so I definitely could read it or listen to it. Of course I know the story. I don't know how many adaptations I've seen of it, but I feel like the story is sort of just like entered. So a lot of stories or things will in some way reference it. I might be interested in it, and since it's so short I might as well, but no, I haven't. 42. Swiss Family Robinson. No, I haven't read it. I had to look up the premise. I don't know, I might be interested in it, but I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I haven't read it. 43. Don Quixote. Or Don Quixote. No, I haven't read it. It's about a Spanish knight. It takes place in Spain. Sounds interesting. Apparently, it's considered the first novel of all time, and it's a foundational text of Western literature, so that's just from the Wikipedia article. I didn't know. I mean, I knew it was like a Spanish theme, but I didn't know beyond that. But isn't what the musical Man of La Mancha is based on? I haven't seen that or listened to that either, but I have heard of it, and so no, I haven't read it, but I might be interested in it. 44. The Call of the Wild. No, I haven't read it. I know of someone who did and was really disturbed by it because they like eat rabbits or something. Isn't it like about a dog that gradually becomes more wild and less civilized? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it, but no, I haven't read it. 45. The Iliad. No, but I've heard an abridged children's version read aloud. Like this was for school. Back when I was, I think, 11. Like I said, it was for school, so I wasn't just reading it for fun, but I have heard like a version of the Iliad that's in a sort of a chapter book format. That's more aimed at kids, so obviously not the length of the original novel, but still relatively long. It definitely felt long, so yeah, but no, I haven't read the full version. I might be interested in it. Somehow the Odyssey sounds kind of more interesting than the Iliad. I know the basic plot of the Iliad, and like with the Trojan horse and all that sort of stuff, but obviously it's different than reading the like original Greek full-length version. So no, I haven't read it, but I might be interested. 46. 100 Years of Solitude. No, I haven't read it, and I hadn't even heard of it before. Apparently it's from the 1960s. It's about a Colombian family, a multi-generational Colombian family, so sounds like something I might be interested in. 47. The Hobbit. No, I haven't read it. I haven't seen any movies. I guess see my earlier comments about The Lord of the Rings. I might be interested, and it chronologically takes place before The Lord of the Rings, so maybe that would be a good place to start if I ever listen to or read the books. 48. A Tale of Two Cities. No, I haven't read it. I think I might be interested in it. It's about kind of the French Revolution. I remember someone was reading it at a rehearsal for a musical we were both in when I was younger. They read that famous opening line. It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times. Was it a time of great light, a time of great darkness? So it definitely sounds like a book that I might be interested in, but no, I haven't read it. 49. Gone with the Wind. No, I haven't read it. I've seen the movie a few times. I love the score to the movie. I think Terra's theme by Max Steiner is one of the most beautiful film scores of all time. Just the music, I love the movie's music. It's great. I've heard the book Gone with the Wind is like extremely racist. I mean, some might say that, well, the movie could be better in that way, but I've heard the book is way worse. And the Lost Cause pro-Confederate stuff's a lot more direct in the book than in the movie. In the movie, it's almost, in some ways, I'd almost say subtly critiqued, just by how the movie is a bit more critical of the Confederacy. Well, it sounds like the book is just like, the book is very much in the kind of Lost Cause narrative. So, I don't know, where it's like they were really tried to tone things down or take things out in the movie, even from 1939 compared with the book. So, 50, The Scarlet Letter. No, I haven't read it. I kind of know the general idea of the plot. So yeah, I know the general plot. I'm not sure if I'd be interested in it. Maybe, maybe not. Well, that's it. That's all 50 books. I don't know what my final tally would be, so, and even however you count all those books, am I a real classics fan or a fake classics fan? I feel like it's not for me to decide. Other people can tell me whether they think I'm a real classics fan or a fake classics fan, or somewhere in the middle. And if you've read some of these books, let me know in the comments, especially if they're books that I haven't read, or if they're books that I've read and you're like, want to share your thoughts, what you liked, what you didn't like about them, whether you agree with my take, disagree with my take. So let me know how many of these books you read and what you thought about them down below in the comments. And until next time, I don't know, what should I say? Try to find the beautiful and interesting things in life as much as you can, and don't get stressed out about minor things.